So many times we seek forgiveness for the things that we did, but then that spouse will turn around and piss us off, and we'll get angry because we're not extending the grace or that forgiveness that we were just given in a different situation.
Five, four, three, two, one, zero.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go. Hey everyone, this is Snooks.
And Lovey.
Have you ever felt that you need additional assistance enhancing your intimacy?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Okay, I'm not talking about in the bedroom. I'm talking about making the connection with your partner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? There's an app for that.
Yeah, and it's called Intimately Us.
I love that app because you know what? You get to play so many different games.
Yeah, you're interrupting. They have Battle Strip.
And Sexy Twister, which is one of my favorites.
And they also have conversation starters and...
I love the how-to. There's a how-to where you can actually learn techniques and things that you want to try with each other along with the sexploration list.
So I was going to say, they also have great date ideas. So if this sounds good to you, download the app at r.intimately.us/MIC.
That's r.intimately.us/MIC.
The link will be in the show notes. Now let's get ready for the podcast.
Welcome to episode 192 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I am Snooks.
And it is the day after Mother's Day.
And I am tired.
Why?
We had a great day yesterday. What is it, TK Designs?
Oh, yes. TKC.int Designs. So,
usually for the last... I'll say 18 years or so, prior to COVID, we would get together, all the women in the family, we get together, we go have brunch for Mother's Day, and we did it at the Doubletree because they had a big brunch banquet, and then we'd go to church and stuff. But since COVID happened, they shut it down, and I thought maybe they would start it back up again, but they didn't. But they did not. So I wanted to do something really special for my mom and came across TKCINT Designs. Is that right?
No, it's actually...
Okay, said it wrong.
We'll put it in the show notes, but it's TKC.INT Design on Instagram.
So I forgot the dot, but he was like, no. Anyway.
And you said plural. It's singular.
So
basically, it's TKC Interior Design.
Okay. So she came out and she transformed my backyard into this beautiful, like, tea party kind of. It was so nice. It was so nice, you guys. It was absolutely beautiful. So
I'll put some pictures up on our Facebook page and also on our Instagram. I failed to do that. So I will put some of those pictures up.
So when, we typically be like, oh, don't rain on my parade. Well, my parade got rained on literally yesterday. It was chilly. I'm like, normally Mother's Day is nice outside. But this Mother's Day was, in our area, it was chilly. It was cold, and then it rained a little bit. And then it stopped, and then it rained a little bit more. So it was kind of crazy, but it was nice. We went back outside. We moved it inside, then we took it back out. But just, doing that and staying up because of I had homework. I had to get my homework done and everything. So we had a great time. It was really fun. And in Lovey, he had fun also. Didn't you?
She's telling me I had fun, so I had fun.
Anyway.
No, it was a good time.
Yeah, so I asked all the ladies that were going to be coming. I said, I told everyone to wear a hat. And my mom was like, wear a hat. I said, yeah. Well, what kind of hat? She's asking me 50 million questions. I was like, Linda. And she started laughing. She's like, okay, okay. And then my sister, I told her the same thing, wear a hat, whatever. She gonna ask me, can I wear my 49ers hat? I was like, no, you can't. It's a tea party. I didn't tell her it was a tea party. I wanted them to be surprised just because of it was just really beautiful. So
It was really nice. And so I didn't know anything about the hat thing until yesterday morning. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll break out a hat. So I wore a hat, and our grandson wore his hat, looking like Houdini.
he did, huh?
And so, but we had a really good time. You know,
was really
I
nice.
got to say, when you see these pictures,
Absolutely
Tanisha's the owner of the company.
beautiful. Absolutely
She
beautiful.
did the damn thing. I mean, she really put on a great show. And when I say show, just the presentation, everything that was there. And it was kind of cool. You know, we just sat around and had, food and snacks and sandwiches and desserts and all that. But we had to eat indoors, like Snooks said, because of the rain. Out of the blue, the storm broke out. There was an umbrella that was over the lemonade, and people were standing underneath the umbrella. I'm like, okay, let's take it indoors. We carried all the stuff that you're going to see in these pictures into the house. Well, the pillows and
The pillows
the
and the
seating
food,
stuff.
yeah.
And then we ate indoors and then took it back out. But all in all, the
was
moms had a
fun.
great time.
Yeah, my mom, she just loved it. She had such a great time. And even my cousin, her mother passed away. So, we grew up like sisters anyway, because she was always with us. So my mom is like her second mom, and I wanted to make sure that she had someone to celebrate, Mother's Day with too. But she's like, she texts me, she goes, I have to tell you, that is the sweetest thing anyone has ever done. I'm so surprised. I was so surprised, and I felt all the love. And I was like, all right, mission
That's cool,
accomplished.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Mission
what it's all
accomplished.
about.
Yeah. They were just like, oh my God, this is so nice. You did all this for us. I was like, I did it for me.
Okay, let's break it down. Let's get to the real, because you know that the R in crazy stands for real. Them fools was late. Late. Very late. And Snooks was stressing out because she had homework to do, like she said earlier. But look, we had to refocus Snooks a couple of times and just be like, let's just focus on the day. It's Mother's Day. Enjoy it.
And I did. It's just that I was trying to prepare myself. But I had two big finals that were due. And the 2 nights before, I pulled like almost all-nighters
She
and
did.
everything, just trying to make sure that I was able to enjoy my family. But there were some times I was like, okay, I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, oh my God. And they're not here yet. But there was a fire on freeway.
Right.
So,
So I mean, there was traffic and all that, but
Yeah.
if you leave on time, you get here on time. But
yeah, okay.
I'm just saying. But no, it was a great day, and we thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was cool. It was cool. Never thought I would ever say that I enjoyed going to a tea
To a
party.
tea party.
It's the first real tea party I've ever been to. But I will say this, that we're going to be using TKC Interior Design, because she does all kinds of luxury, intimate events outdoors.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing
I can't wait for
a date night
Yeah.
in the evening with the lights and all the stuff that she sets up. Something for our granddaughters
Yeah, we're gonna have another tea party with the granddaughters. So
and their little cousins and all that. So it's going to be kind of cool. So anyway, that's what we did this week, and we hope you had an amazing Mother's Day. For those of you that celebrate Mother's Day and that are blessed with the opportunity to do so. The other thing that we didn't really get a chance to really go into was last weekend. We touched on the fact that we went to a marriage retreat, but I don't think we really got into some of the things that we learned from that marriage retreat.
yeah, I feel like some of it was like stuff we know. It's almost like certain things, even about how relationships function and everything, but those reminders are always so good. And even just getting another aha moment, like, oh, that's right, I did used to do that, or oh, okay, I see y'all, okay, I'm gonna start implementing that.
And
So
they did it in 3 phases, and each one was just like Snick said, it was either a great remedial for us. And it was nice because the relationships ranged for people that have been married for just 3 days
Yeah, we did have that.
to people that were married for like 40 something years.
46.
That was awesome to be around these people. But everybody was there lifting up the covenant of marriage. But the thing that go ahead. You were
No,
gonna
I
say
was just
something.
saying, no, just kind of saying, kind of piggybacking on what you said, lifting up the covenant of marriage. I love when couples or people are really invested in their marriages. You know, for so many years, I think for so many people, the household or it's just been kind of like, yeah, we're married. That was kind of the attitude about marriage surrounding, yeah, we're married. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And it's just very, whatever. Like you're
Real
saying, we're
nonchalant.
having TV dinners or something like that. I get excited when people are excited about their spouse or they're excited about their marriage and they're happy.
And let me tell you how excited they were. So the first night was just dancing. All right, it was just the DJ. It was dinner. It was a dinner at the hotel, and then we had a DJ, and we danced I mean, we're talking really dance. I'm talking about the old school dance where at the end of the night you done sweated out your perm, you done sweated out. Your clothes are wet the whole night. I mean, we danced.
Yeah.
I don't think Snooks may have come off the dance floor maybe 2 or 3 times.
I love to dance. I absolutely love to dance. I dance at home, so I was like, oh, I get to show off my moves. Okay, let's go.
And I will say that several other couples that we did not know said that you guys were the best dancers in the whole place.
And I agreed. No.
I was like, well, I stood there. She made me look good.
Whatever.
It was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
But so let's just jump into it.
Let's get right into it.
The very first time and we might actually make this a multi-episode discussion, because I think that there's some things that really need to be gone into. Specifically, the very first day was about the art of forgiveness. Mm-hmm. And this was a Christian-based retreat. Mm-hmm. So, me, I always talk about how, I'm the 13th apostle. Like, yeah, I kind of know what the sermon was about.
Yeah.
I got the gist.
Yeah, when Jesus turned the water into wine,
I was the one drinking the wine.
And all of the other apostles left. They had to go back and get Lovey. So
right.
he's that apostle.
Exactly. I was that apostle. There was down the street, and like
where is Ernie?
They're testifying, talking about where is Brother Ernie? Brother Ernie, I think he's still back there drinking the wine.
Still drinking the wine.
And Jesus was like, my bad. I shouldn't have made that much wine.
Right.
No, look. I'd be like, ooh, heathen.
He's a heathen.
Look, listen. I was part of the mission. Jesus had to come back and save somebody. That's all I'm saying. I was part of the mission.
You made Jesus look good.
Made him look good. It's like, this brother needs some saving. So he's
crazy.
like, he can come along. He's like the comedy relief. We're like, we need somebody to calm Peter down. Peter be going off. Like, sometimes we just need Peter to actually go after Ernie so we can get him out of the crowd. But anyway, look, when you're talking about forgiveness, there is a parable that really stood out, and it's in the book of Matthew, where it talks about how there was the servant that needed forgiveness. The servant was late on I think it was the taxes.
It was debt.
Debt.
So it was the debt collector. He was taken before, I'll say, the magistrate or whatever, because he owed X amount of money. He wasn't able to pay, so he was going to be thrown into the debtor's prison, and he pled. He got down on his hands and knees and he begged for forgiveness from the king, and please don't, blah blah blah, whatever he said. And so the king felt compassion for him, and then he forgave him the whole debt, everything.
Right.
And so.
And this is going to be found in Matthew chapter 18, verses 23 through 35. Actually, it goes all the way from 21 through 35, but this particular portion of it is 23 through 35. And what he was really saying was that because of that, he was forgiven of his debt, and immediately that person that was forgiven their debt had a servant that owed money. Mm-hmm. And the servant basically did the exact same thing, begged for forgiveness, begged for an opportunity to make good on the debt. But this person that had just been forgiven cast him into jail, cursed him, threw him into jail, did not offer the forgiveness that he was just seeking himself. And the pastor that the church that we were at, or I should say the retreat, shout out to the house in
Modesto,
California. Pastor Rich did a phenomenal job. He and his wife were amazing. So anyway, and I'm actually going to put a link to their church in there. I don't think I've ever lifted up a church like that, but this was a really great retreat. And it was their first time doing a retreat, and I just thought it was a phenomenal job. Anyway, but what we were talking about ultimately was you have to, it's about becoming, right? Become marriage. And when you're looking at this forgiveness that you're seeking, you have to be willing to give that forgiveness that you're seeking. And in our relationships, we have to do that often as well. We've talked about this many moons ago, but quite honestly, it's something that needs to be talked about time and time again, because I think we get lost, just like this debtor was lost. They sought forgiveness, but weren't willing to give the forgiveness that they actually sought. And we need to be able to do that when it comes to our spouses. So many times we seek forgiveness for the things that we did, but then that spouse will turn around and piss us off, and we'll get angry because we're not extending the grace or that forgiveness that we were just given in a different situation.
Sometimes, I mean, I don't even think it has to be like they get mad about something else or whatever. A lot of times we like to compare the crimes. I have no other word to use but that. I'm going to compare what you're forgiving me for to what you want me to forgive you for. And what you did was way worse. So, you know, there's, they put parameters basically around what is forgivable. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Right. It's like, oh, well, why? Of course you forgive me because what I did wasn't that
Yeah,
bad.
it wasn't even that bad. I wasn't even that mad. But you tripping and you blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not going to forgive you.
Yeah, but see, we have to be conscious of several things. Number one, why we forgive.
Why do you forgive?
We forgive because that's a burden that you're going to be carrying around. A lot of times. What? Why are you laughing?
No, I'm laughing because it is true, but it's like I don't think people. I'm just perspective my own. I feel like a lot of people they be looking at forgiveness like, well, I better forgive because this is a burden I'm going to be carrying.
No, you're right.
No,
you're right. You're right. I don't think I ever look at that like I need to forgive because, but I think sometimes it's just, it does create a burden that you carry around with yourself, and it's just you can't invest or focus on other things if you're not willing to forgive, because it's like an anchor that's holding you back from your blessings.
It's like it's top of mind a lot of times. Like you just said, you can't focus. You can't focus because you can't get past whatever it was. So that's just going to stay there. I'm just going to marinate in it, and I'm going to marinate in it happily.
Isn't it crazy, though, how you bring up stuff that has absolutely nothing to do? You bring the thing that you're supposed to.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me right now.
Oh, no.
I'm on point.
No, I'm talking about, okay, like forgiveness. Okay, so we're talking about forgiveness. You could be sitting there watching a football game. You could be mad at somebody because of something they did to you earlier in the week. Like, okay, so on Tuesday, so-and-so did XYZ to you, and it pissed you off. And you're like, I'll never forgive them for that. And then, and they hurt me, and da-da-da. So then it's Sunday, and you're sitting down watching the game, and your spouse comes up to you and says, hey, how's the game going? It's all right, but, I can't even focus on the game because I can't stop thinking about what so-and-so did on Tuesday. But you're sitting there watching it. You're sitting there eating your little snacks, drinking your little drinks, but you can't even enjoy the game because, or whatever it may be. It might be you're at the kids' event, or you're at a wedding, or you're out hanging out with friends. It's like, oh, how's it going? It's all right. I'm having a good time and all, but I just can't get my mind off of blah, blah, blah. It's that anchor that's holding you back. And your drag has absolutely nothing to do with what you are in the moment for right now, but you're stopping yourself from being in the moment because you're so overly focused on this thing that you cannot forgive somebody else for.
And when you think, well, I just got a visual about an anchor. You throw an anchor in or whatever, it drops to the bottom to catch on to something, right? So, but it doesn't just, as soon as you drop it, it just automatically stops and catches. it drags and drags and drags all kind of other debris, all other collateral or whatever with it until finally it stops. If you think about it, that's kind of what anchor unforgiveness does to other people. Now I'm caught up in your little whatever you had going on because I'm like, bro, I just asked, was you enjoying the game?
And you dragged me into
And
your
now
misery.
you didn't drag me into it. And now I find myself being put in the place where suppose you were actually wrong for what it was. So now am I going to tell you, well, I understand why, or I'm going to say, well, I don't think that that's that big of a deal because now we're going to have an argument or whatever.
Right. Okay.
So
We got to talk about something.
you're
I just
gonna-
want to watch the game.
Right.
I don't want to talk
exactly. I
about.
don't even want to. So, and then if I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm unfeeling or I don't care. So
But bottom line is you get dragged into it. You're part of that debris, the collateral damages you were talking about. And the thing that it's almost like forgiveness is a part of not being able to communicate well, even with yourself. To be able to say that, just because if you communicate it well with yourself, just to say, okay, look, Ern, you just need to let that go. Just have a moment with yourself. Like, is it really that important, man? Is it really that worth destroying the rest of your week? This is Tuesday. No, it's like, okay, well, this is Sunday. What we're talking about happened way back on Tuesday. What's up? Why are you letting that happen? And have this conversation with yourself. But the problem is, in doing that, the reason why we can't forgive is because there's a hardening of the heart. And we've got to find ways to unharden our hearts. And, the pastor talked about that as well. And we're going to go over 4 things.
okay.
4 things that you can do to unharden your heart. And the very first one, honestly, is just what we were doing a little while ago, talking about me being the 13th apostle. Like, where Brother Ernie at? He back there drinking that wine you made, Jesus.
Right. So don't be mad.
And it's like, well, I made it for the people. Well, it's like, yeah,
He's
well,
part of the people.
Ernie thinks he is the people. So anyway, no, but it's like laughter. Laughter is the number one thing that you can do to unharden your heart.
Because what is laughter? I mean, when you think about it, when someone says something, or I just use myself as an example. I've had days where I go to work or I'm doing something, whatever, and I'm feeling, it's not even just about unforgiving. I'm just feeling some kind of way. Maybe I'm upset. Maybe I had a bad morning. It doesn't matter what it is. But when someone calls and I laugh, I get a good laugh, man, that does it for me. I just like, you just do not know how much I needed that. Because now is not just, I'm happy again. You're talking about biology. Something happened
Right.
to me, to my biology. It changed something going on in me.
So when you laugh, you release so many different chemicals.
Was it endorphins?
Yeah, the
Okay.
endorphins are
I didn't want to
released.
say the word unless I didn't know it.
Yeah, no, endorphins are released, and there's a variety of other neurotransmitters that are released, that are activated, I should say. And it's funny how you could, right? How many times have you been in a situation where you're crying and you're so distraught, and then all of a sudden somebody says something, and then you're like, you know what? It's so bad that I just
It makes you laugh.
It makes you laugh, and you start laughing. Then you got tears coming out your eyes, and then for whatever reason, you just feel better. The situation hasn't changed. Whatever had you crying, that scenario still exists, but the laughter took away some of the pain, at least in the moment. And then it's funny how that laughter can allow you to actually start to look at things from a different perspective.
Be able to process a little bit differently.
And it's something that we need to do more often, particularly in our relationships. Quit being so darn serious with each other. There's a time to be serious, but sometimes we take ourselves way too serious. And it's one of those things that we control. We have 100% control over our sense of humor. Oh no, I don't. It's just not funny.
Some people, it's like they dare you to. I mean, that's in them. Like, I ain't gonna laugh. I don't care. I'm gonna stay. I'm going to stay stuck. you know, trying hard to stay mad, trying hard to keep that exterior just like, you know, what it is. I mean, that goes back to defense mechanisms. That's a different topic, but some people, they just, I'm not going to do it,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like, nope, you're not gonna make me laugh. You're not gonna make me. I refuse to be lighthearted. I want to be heavy-hearted.
Yeah.
You know, and they want to hold on to that, and it makes you wonder. Like, so are you married to the anger and the frustration, and the thing that you're not willing to forgive, or are you married to your spouse? Choose what you want to be married to. I want to be married to her, not the anger and the frustration or whatever that she causes me on a daily basis. No.
Wow. I was like, oh, wait, what?
No, but you know, choose who you want to be married to or what you want to be married to. The second thing is application, right? Again, we're talking about 4 things to unharden your heart. And when I say application, we're talking about the application of applying, right? Applying. Don't just say it. You have to do it. Meaning that if there's something that needs to be done, don't just say, oh, yeah, well, whatever, I forgive it. Don't just say it.
Yeah, a lot, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. A lot of marriages are strictly lip service, you know, and that's not good because that will lead to disappointment. I mean, there's a whole plethora of things that type of thing will lead to, but is Nike, huh? Just do it.
Yep, Nike was just do it.
Just do it.
And we talk about
Get it done.
knowledge all the time. You know, you acquire this knowledge and we say, oh, knowledge is power, but you've heard it a gazillion times from us. It's not knowledge is power. It's applied knowledge. The application of that knowledge, an application of when you know what you're supposed to do in your marriage, you know what you're supposed to do. Come on, let's not play games. You know what you should be doing. But unfortunately, we be shoulding all over our marriage. Right?
Yep.
And stop shoulding and start doing. Do what you know is right. And sometimes it's just like, you know, right or wrong, I just need to forgive her for whatever it is.
I knew you was going to say that. That's why I just kept my mouth closed. I knew you was going to say that.
No. And then the next thing is really compassion.
Yeah, and that's, well, you know.
That's the C.
That's the C for us. Compassion. Compassion is trying to see things through the lens of your partner. You know, before I get pissed off about something, let me think about let me think about why he said it, what his perspective was, where was he coming from. So I'm not going to be in my feelings. I'm going to think first and try to turn the situation around. How would this, blah, blah, blah. What was he thinking? You know, and we're not mind readers. But if we stop and really just be like, okay, first of all, I'm not going to think that he did it on purpose. I'm going to stop and be like, there must be a reason. So,
yeah, of all the assumptions to make, quit assuming that the person did it on purpose. You know, I know sometimes I give her a side eye like, she do that on purpose?
He gives me side eye every day.
Every day. No. But I mean, but that's the one thing that we shouldn't, that's the one conclusion we shouldn't be jumping to. That the person is actually being malicious and doing this to spite us. Either you love each other or you don't. There should be nothing in between. Like, oh, sometimes I love her. Well, that's true. Let me take that back. Sometimes I like her, but I don't know. She got on my nerves. No, I'm just playing. But it's one of those things where the compassion is real. It has to be real.
You have to have compassion. There's no way, I feel like, I mean, unless you both just stone-hearted, but I feel like compassion really is a component of marriage. You have to have compassion in your marriage.
You do. And it's funny. And if you parallel this to the scripture that we talked about, that's in Matthew, what is it, chapter 18?
18.
Not only should you give the forgiveness that you want to seek, but you should also give the compassion or practice the compassion that you would want your spouse to have for you as well, or your significant other. And sometimes compassion is confused with empathy. And empathy is something that is needed as well. Compassion, well, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, to me, in my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like...
I will. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I feel like compassion is that thing that like you talked about, being able to look at the world through the eyes of the other individual, through their lens, right? That compassion. But I think empathy takes it a step further, where it's trying to understand how they feel.
Yeah, empathy is we just talked about empathy not too long ago. Empathy is something that you feel. It involves the feeling of the other person. I feel how you feel. I don't say how you feel, but it's like I'm almost literally in your shoes, and that raw emotion that you feel, I can also feel it, you know.
So to me, it's like, okay, there's two things, right? There's senses. We all have different senses. I feel as if compassion is the almost like utilizing the sense of sight. Where you're like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. That's compassion, right? To be able to see where the other person might actually view whatever it is that's going on. I can see how you might look at it that way. Is a compassionate statement. Empathy is about, oh, okay, yep, it's the feel. Like, okay, I can see how you might feel that way. And it's a different way. It's.
Well, I can see how you feel that way.
Well, yeah, I know. I said but it's like I feel you. Like I feel as if I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, and just for me myself, because my empathy is off the charts.
Talking to Mike.
I'm sorry. My empathy is off the charts. So for myself, it's like I feel like the gut wrenching. I feel the anger. I feel everything the other person like feels. And empathy can be a double-edged sword also, because it's your friend. It's a blessing and a curse.
At the same time.
Yeah, Courtney and I were talking about this. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. But if you can literally feel how your partner, the emotions and stuff like that, that would make you, I feel like, you'd have a melting of the ice around your heart, so to speak.
It's like that Christmas cartoon with the Winter Wizard.
Winter Warlock.
Mm-hmm. The melting of his heart. Mm-hmm. And then that's what we want for each and every one of you out there, is to actually provide you with an opportunity to have the melting of your heart, to have that vulnerability to the point where you can actually experience those four things, to unharden your heart, to have that laughter, to be able to get to a point where you can apply those things that you want in your marriage. Not just talk about it, but actually apply.
Yeah. So let me just say this too, just kind of, I think about, because some people will be like, well, that's just me, and that's just how I am, and I've been like this, and blah, 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 whatever. But it's like, okay, so you've been this way. Maybe it's time for a change. I mean, we have what, 4 seasons? They come every year, and they change. And now even we know winter's coming. We know winter came, but winter did not look the same way that it looked 2 years ago.
Right.
It still was winter, but it looked and it felt differently.
Some are more mild, some are more harsh.
Exactly. So don't stay so stagnant in that and beat your chest about this is how I am and I'm gonna. So what's most important? I mean, this relationship that we have, this is the most important relationship that I have. So it's important to me that you are happy, that you feel loved, that you feel heard. Maybe not heard, no. But I'm saying if the person who I'm saying means the most to me, then why will I not do what I can to make that person feel important and feel special, feel all the things that I said that they are? Why wouldn't I do that?
Right. Very true. Good points. And the last two, compassion and empathy, the four things to unharden your heart. Sometimes they can be confused with each other, but you know what? If you blend them, as long as you're doing them, having compassion for each other and showing empathy for each other, those are things that not only will unharden your heart, but it'll open up the doors to communication. a lot of times the most massive barrier that you're going to have between you and your ability to communicate effectively with your spouse is the fact that your heart is hardened and you just don't want to have that communication. But if you soften it, melt that ice like you were talking about, then at that point, then it opens the doors to communication, which then opens the doors to so many opportunities for you to share with each other.
I wish I knew that thing where you talk about like the path, not the pathway, but like the measurement from your heart to your brain, or it's real technical. And now I'm upset because I don't know it, but that just talking about the connection from the heart and the mind, the distance between something like that. I can't remember, but there's the connection,
Well, look it
about
up.
well, I
Not
can't
now.
right now. That's
Oh,
what I'm saying. I'm upset.
Trust me,
because
we don't want you to right now.
we'll be here all night.
Well, I said we'll be here 3 hours. Talking about, did you find it yet?
No.
No, but I found this other thing that's really interesting, and you should take a look at this. And
Wow. Really? That hurt.
Hey.
Ugh, that hurt.
oh,
But
let's
I
talk
forgive
about
you.
it.
But I forgive you.
Do you? Do you showing compassion?
I'm showing forgiveness.
Look, hey. So we ask that you guys just join the conversation. Do that and then share this conversation with a friend. Go ahead and let somebody know that you're listening to the Married into Crazy podcast. Invite somebody to join the conversation either on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. And then you can always go over to marriedintocrazy.com and leave a comment. Let us know what you think of the podcast, if there's any topics that you would like us to actually broach. Those are probably the main things. And then from time to time in our show notes, we're going to actually include a few clips. Like I'm going to have a link in there, at least to show you where the IG is for TKC Interior Design. If you live in the Sacramento, Northern California area, definitely look her up so you can actually utilize some of her outdoor luxury events. But if you don't live in the area, go follow her. Check it out. Let's increase her followership. So that way, who knows? Maybe she'll go on a tour and start helping people.
Hey, you never know.
So with that said, until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.